Welcome to a quick presentation on cyber threats. Today's topic is the letter B, as in B is for bring your own device, or as we commonly say, BYOD. Bring your own device has grown exponentially over the past few years. The concept refers to an employee accessing company data from a personal device, such as a personal mobile phone or a personal laptop, or even a personal tablet. In part, this massive boom in the use of BYOD is because many organizations are moving online. Rather than have all the aggro of setting up their own networks and managing all that hardware and software, it is much easier to ask a cloud provider to host all the company data. Of course, these cloud providers run systems that are device agnostic. In other words, as long as you have a device that can access the internet, you're good to go. Don't forget that working remotely or on the road also has massive benefits for many employees, and this too has encouraged the adoption of BYOD. Unfortunately, BYOD devices are a real headache for any organization that permits their use. For example, as a company director, how can I be sure that an employee's mobile phone is not used by other family members or friends, that it's password protected or it has antivirus installed, that it's updated and uses secure online connections, that it's encrypted and tracked and can be remotely wiped if it's lost, that my company data is not being auto-synced to the employee's own cloud storage, and that my company data is removed if the employee decides to flog the device. All of a sudden, you can start to see why this is such a problem. Potentially, the employee is accessing regulated data or information that is quite sensitive over a device that I have no control over whatsoever. It cuts both ways too. For example, from the employee's perspective, are they happy to have their personal device forensically examined if it's involved in a major security instance or a data breach? I think not. There are, however, multiple solutions to this problem. 1. The company could put a complete ban on the use of personal devices. This is risk avoidance and it can work well. However, A, it can be very difficult to enforce, and B, you now need to provide anyone who works remotely with a company-issued device, which can get expensive. The second option is to invest in mobile device management software, or MDM. This is a great solution. MDM can enforce the use of passwords, it can encrypt data, it can push security updates to the device, it can block apps that are a security risk, separate company data from employee data, and even wipe the device if it's lost. MDM can also significantly lower costs to an organization. How? Well, you're permitting employees to use their own devices on their own data plans and through whatever provider works best for them. You don't have to buy or maintain devices or force your employees onto a specific platform or ecosystem. That being said, however, you need the consent of an employee before you can install any form of MDM software, and they need to know exactly what that software is doing. Okay, so we don't want a complete ban and MDM sounds unappealing. What do we do? In such circumstances, it is worth sitting down and classifying your data. What information would be the most sensitive to lose? Usually, this is data protected by legislation or industry regulation. Otherwise, we're talking about sensitive internal administrative documents. The point is that once you know what data is sensitive, you can train employees to recognize it. You can then make them think about how they handle and protect this information. This way, they'll understand why they should use strong passwords or two-step factor authentication, why they should avoid storing company data on a personal device, why they should encrypt their own device using the settings, and why they should be able to track their own devices, or why they should update their systems, and how to evaluate the security risks of the apps that they want to download and install. To be honest, you should be doing this no matter what your final strategy will be. Finally, as an enterprise, you might have to invest in a VPN. This will allow your workforce to safely access your network without worrying about adversaries stealing sensitive data as it travels over the internet. This is possible because a VPN encrypts any form of online connection. Just make sure that you have strong access policies for these VPN connections.